All right, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I want to know that you can hear me. So if you could hop over to the chat box, you'll see a red ribbon off to your right, and there's a chat box right there. And just write yes, meaning yes, you can hear me. I know there's a little bit of a delay. I went ahead and started by saying yes, I can hear myself. Welcome, everybody. I want to know that you can hear me. All right, I see we have a delay. I'm just going to give it just a minute or two. See if somebody can let me know that you can hear me by typing yes in the chat box. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that. Okay. We had some technical difficulties the last time I delivered this, so I am confident that tonight's will go very well. But forgive me if I do check in every now and then to be sure. I have two computers running, and so if I'm a little delayed, it's because I'm looking at some other computer figuring stuff out. So thank you so much for being here. I am just thrilled to share this with you, and let me see here, sorry. All right. All right, so I want to welcome you and just tell you how excited I am to be on this webinar. This is the first go-around of me sharing this content. I did it last week, and then this is the encore. And this is specifically for coaches and transformational leaders. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to share my expertise with you. Because as I sit amongst my peers, sometimes I realize that I take for granted some of the stuff I know as a teacher. And I found that what I know and live and breathe every day can be very overwhelming for some. And what I'm really good at is helping beginners get started at whatever they're doing. Beginners at absolutely anything. And I'll go into that in a few minutes when I share my background with you. But before I get in, I know we've all had a busy day today. And so before I begin, I would just like you to, I just want to invite you to close your eyes and let's just take a collective deep breath. And just try to let go of your day and close all your little chat boxes and Facebook open and email open and put your cell phone under your chair. And just try to be here now, because I promise it's a good use of your time. I know you'll get a lot of value from it, and how we do anything is how we do everything. And so how you show up to learn is really going to show how you show up in your business. So just invite you to get rid of your distractions and be here now. So I'd love to get to know you. And so I'm going to do a little poll. So what I want to know is, have you ever, excuse me while I type and talk at the same time, have you delivered a program before? So you're just going to answer yes or no. And I'm going to hit start poll. I know that there's a little bit of a delay, so if you don't see it right away, okay, so you should be able to click on polls, although on my second computer I don't see it yet. So let's see. All right. Let me know in the chat if you can see this. Okay, Deborah, I see that you are here and can hear me but not see me. So can you see the picture of the woman that's smiling and the welcome picture? Okay. Okay, I am not sure. I'm going to continue on and just see if you guys can see when I advance the slide, and we'll go from there. And if it turns into be a webinar, I mean a teleseminar instead of a webinar, then that won't be any different than last week, and and I'll just have to laugh it off. All right. Okay, so I have changed the slide, and you should see a picture of me with the words "About Me" at the top. So I'm hoping that you can see that. And so for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Katie Collins, and I help people say yes to the dream that's living inside of them. So what I mean by that is at times I serve people who are shifting from a job into starting their own business. And at other times, I'm working with people who are still struggling to get their business to a stage that feels consistent and successful. I attract heart-centered clients whose first intention is to make a difference in the world. And by doing that, create an income that allows them to live a well-balanced life of fun and play and love and service, however that looks to them. So I just had a great client win today. A client of mine posted into a group saying that he has made, I think he said, more than half of what he made the year before, and we're only in February. So it was his first time selling packages, and he sold 4 so far. So it's really exciting to watch people say yes to the dream that's living inside of them. And part of why I'm here today is because I know that you have something inside of you that I want you to be able to say yes to without the overwhelm. And so that's really what fostered me to be here today. Okay, so the next slide I'm hoping you can see is a picture of a classroom that I used to teach in, because before I became a coach, I was a teacher. And my last job was teaching adult refugees how to read. And I learned an immense amount of information around working with folks who are shy, introverted, have low self-esteem, and lack feelings of self-worth because of years of persecution in their homeland. And I was able to provide them with a great gift, the gift of literacy. I helped them learn something that they never, ever believed was possible. They trusted me, and I gently nudged them along and kept it fun. When adults relax in your teaching setting, they are much more likely to push themselves past their comfort zones. For some of them, it was the best part of their day to be a part of a community. I mean, look how big, you can see from the picture, how big the class got at times. I think in this picture I had something like 51 or 52 students show up that day. They loved being a part of that community, and they loved having the goofy teacher making them laugh and just help them let go of their worries for just a moment. And so imagine that for you, when you're there coaching your people with whatever niche you're coaching them in, whether you're a health coach or a love coach, mindfulness coach, to be able to create a community and a space where people feel safe to bust out of their comfort zone and trust you. And so that's why I'm so passionate about sharing with all of you how to reach all types of adult learners, because I know that you have a gift to share. You have a genius inside of you, and you are the perfect match for some people out there who are looking for the very thing that you offer. And what I'm going to help you do is get yourself visible so people know that you're offering it and have the opportunity to download what you have to offer. Okay, so the next slide is talking about why we're gathered here today. And I can see that there's a little delay, so I've advanced the slide, and it may take a minute for you to see the slide advance. But that's okay, I'll just talk while we're waiting. So I shared a little with you on the videos that you hopefully watched on the registration page, but I just love to take a few minutes and explain where the idea for this webinar came from and why I'm so passionate and excited about it. I was at an event a few months back attended by some of the top names in the personal development and transformational coaching industry. And one of the speakers was talking about the extremely low completion rate of online programs, including group programs that are live and home study programs. And she was asking the participants what we as an industry can do about it. And it struck a chord in me that couldn't be denied or ignored. This woman was speaking my language with a master's degree in education and 17 years of teaching experience, 9 of which were in adult education programs. I couldn't agree more with the fact that something had to change in this industry. Gone are the days where it's acceptable to take a bunch of your old audios from group coaching programs and package those as a home study program. Danny Inney did a great job explaining the difference between informational products and educational products. An informational product is one that was created, finished, and is done. The results of which depend solely on the user of the product, and there's no coaching available whatsoever. So these were a hit in the early years of the internet. But when the marketing of them exploded, people got burnt out on paying even a small investment for crappy stuff. Educational programs, on the other hand, have a responsibility to the outcome, right? It has a responsibility for the results. These programs and products are making a real difference, helping people change their lives. So which one do you think people will talk more about? And which type of product or program do you want to create? So to answer this question, ask yourself this one. Are you committed to your clients getting the results that you're promising? Are you willing to continuously ask for feedback so that you can update and upgrade your programs, making them even more valuable? This extra effort on your part brings you in more income anyway, because when you're offering version 2.0 and 3.0 of your product or program, you can feel aligned with raising the investment level. Now, we've all downloaded programs that we keep meaning to make the time to get to, and we don't. And some of us even feel guilty for that, right? But how many of you have been in live group programs in which you felt swallowed up whole? You may have fallen behind and there was no one there to keep you accountable, to check in and see why you weren't showing up anymore. You may have felt like the coach didn't care, that he or she has your money and it's up to you to stay or go. So as adult educators, it's easy to place all the responsibility on the client. There's a tendency to think, hey, they're adults. If they don't do the work, it's their issue. I'm not here to babysit. Well, I'm here to say, yes, that's partly true. And to quote Jane Duber, we not only have an obligation to provide a proven process that delivers on our promise, but we must also do what's needed to inspire engagement, drive student progress, and measure results they create. So here's the thing. I want you to be able to make more money, work less hours than you are right now, and help more people. But I would love to see you do that by putting your best foot forward, offering programs and home study products that you are extremely proud of, that you feel great about selling, and that will eventually provide you with the leverage that's so appealing to all of us. But you can't leverage a product that sucks, let's face it. So leverage starts with structuring your content into a program that you can actually leverage well. And the base from which all of this happens is your own time and effort. So I wish I could give you a product or program right here, right now that could wave a magic wand and get all of this stuff done for you. But the truth is, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. Online products and programs give you an opportunity to make global impact, to help empower people all over the world through your packaged products. But again, your programs and products gotta be good. So I just want to go over, because there are lots of benefits to having a home study program in particular, including, you have a program that's at an investment level that most people can afford. Another great benefit is that there's some positioning for you online. When someone goes to your website to check out what you're up to, they're much more likely to trust you when they see that you have a home study program already complete and packaged. It shows that you've been around for a while and that you're somewhat of an expert in your field. Your home study program could be an easy bonus for someone signing up to coach with you, as well as a gift that you can offer to a joint ventures audience to show some serious generosity, which will undoubtedly come back to you tenfold. So I use my home study program as an easy bonus when people say yes to a 6-month program with me, because I know that it's a great structure for them to stay on track in addition to the one-on-one coaching that I'm offering them. But I just throw it in as a bonus. If you think about it, after the initial time investment that it will take you to create your home study program, you can make simple tweaks here and there to make it better, and you'll be able to profit again and again with the automated systems, right, after you set it up and test run it. But never, ever automate a system like that before you test run it, because you want to make sure that you're getting feedback from people and that it is the very best. And the only way you're going to do that, be able to do that, is to have people give you feedback. So really, don't get ahead of yourself. I know that there are a lot of coaches out there that talk about, get leverage in the first month that you're in business, and I disagree. I think it's really important to get the foundation built and do it right. So another benefit is that the results for your clients who go through the program are predictable, because you know exactly what's in the beginning, middle, and end of your program. Having a home study program also gives you credibility and visibility among your colleagues and potential clients. So I think there are so many benefits to a home study program. You might wonder, well, what is stopping people from actually getting it done? I know people are still hesitant to create one, and so I started asking my colleagues that very question. What is stopping you from creating one? What was in the way of them leveraging their genius? And of course, many of the responses included a lack of time, which I understand, and a feeling of just complete overwhelm when they thought about the entire process. I had some people tell me that they were never sure about how much content was too much or how to structure it in a way that didn't feel like they were trying to teach everything they know in a 4-week home study program. they didn't want to give it all away, so to speak. But they weren't sure how to balance it out so that they were delivering a program that gets results, but also leaves the client wanting to go even deeper into the next level of offering. So excuse me for just a second while I take a sip of water here. So we all have that desire, right, to share all of what we can to help our clients get the best possible transformation. What we may forget sometimes is that they are getting a transformation. They didn't come to you for the information, they came to you for the transformation. And it's ongoing, always evolving. And your home study program may be the initial start for someone about to embark on the lifelong journey of personal transformation. So I know I keep talking about home study programs here, and I just want to be clear that this content that you're going to get today can be used for creating group programs, home study programs, or even just structuring your one-on-one personal coaching calls. So I don't know about you, but I have had some really great coaches talk in circles and not really be clear with the beginning, middle, and end. And so what I'm going to help you understand is how to structure your entire program as well as just your sessions. So you'll see as I'll go through some examples of both. But as a result of the conversations that I had and just my own experiences that I've had, I created this webinar. And my intention is for you to be able to walk away from this with a solid understanding of the steps that you need to take to start mapping out your next program or product. I have made it easy to understand how to create content that inspires, teaches, and sells. So grab some paper and a pen and the free resource if you have it already. And if you don't, it's on a slide, and so it's okay. Don't worry about it. So some things we're going to go over today. You're going to learn some things to consider when teaching adult learners. You're going to learn how much content is too much, or better yet, what is the perfect amount of content to teach for each module or each session that you're doing. I'm going to tell you how you can get paid before you design and create your program. You're going to learn how to get your clients to get the results that you promise in your marketing bullet points. I'm going to show you some ways that you can increase client engagement in your program, because when they engage in your content, they are making shifts in their life. And that's the point, right? And of course, I'll show you how to easily structure your content. And I'm going to give you everything I can in this hour. And I know that some of you are going to want more, or you might be really excited to get started. And so I'm going to share a way with you for you to get it done, whether it's mapping out your upcoming group program or personal coaching program, or structuring your home study program. I'm going to map out a way and show you how you can actually just get it done. All right, so let's get started. Excuse me. All right, so we're moving on to getting to know the adult learner, and there's a slide that will come up whenever it decides to appear for you. But I wanted to start off by sharing a little bit about what to keep in mind when you consider the typical adult learner. And although you may not have considered yourself one, you are in fact a teacher in some regards, right? Because you're sharing your content, your strategies, your system, even if you don't yet realize that you have a system. And when you share that with others, you're a teacher. So when you're a teacher, you have learners. And in this case, your learners are adults. And you've got to keep these things in mind before you get started on designing your program. And that's why I'm going over this first. You may not be aware of some of the factors that make up an adult learner. And Now, these may seem, you may be reading the slide going, yeah, obviously people are busy because so are you. But it's so important to keep these in mind when you're planning your sessions and your modules and your homework. All right, so to start, adults are very, very busy, just like you. And they may be juggling things such as work life, family life, health concerns, money concerns, aging parents, ill children, exhaustion, etc. In fact, it's likely they hired you to help solve at least one of these issues. So I just want you to remember that they may have even more going on under the surface that you may not know about, especially if it's someone purchasing your home study program and is not working with you one-on-one. The importance of this point is that you need to keep these in mind as considerations when you're planning the homework and activities for them. Keep it realistic. On the same note of busyness and juggling multiple things, consider a way to get them grounded and focused before you start teaching anything. Start with a meditation or a physical exercise that encourages them to focus on your session and nothing else for the time being. You may have noticed I did a little bit of that today when I invited you to take a collective deep breath. I invited you to get rid of the distractions. I invited you to put your phone underneath your chair, right? It helps to remind adults of these things. Much like in a live seminar where you'll hear the person who's going to introduce the speaker to please silence your cell phone. It's an invitation to be here now. So just make sure that you add that into your notes. That's how you want to start off your session. Adults have a long history of learning, and some of them didn't have a great experience in school. In fact, I just had a client conversation today, and she was beating herself up because she had agreed that in the 2-week span between our session, that she was going to read 14 chapters of this book that's important to her. She came up with that assignment and she committed to it. 7 chapters one week and 7 chapters the next week. And we get on the call today and she says, Katie, I just found my book yesterday and I only read 3 chapters. So she immediately started to berate herself. And this is what you have to keep in mind. Because adult learners may have paradigms around not being able to finish things or feeling overwhelmed at the thought of even making a 3 to 6 month commitment with you because they know themselves and they most likely won't follow through with what they say, even though they wish they could. Their gremlin voices may be saying, I suck, or this is too hard, or I'm such a loser, I can't believe I lost that book, or does this coach even care? Or worse, if they're in the midst of your program and they are not completing the assignments or making progress, their gremlin may say, I can't believe I failed at this again. Adults, just like children, need a lot of encouragement. Words of affirmation are still important to them, right? As adults learned that not doing their homework has consequences, including punishment. These gremlin voices inside of their head are very loud. Obviously, we are not here to punish people, right? And so know that when they don't get something done, they're most likely suffering inside their own mind. So meeting them with compassion and affirmation for what they've accomplished already will help them get back on track. Now, this is challenging for home study programs, which is why I'm planting this seed in your mind now, so that you can be thinking about ways to get them back on track in the midst of your program without directly speaking to you one-on-one. Whether you have an automated email system that's delivering the lessons each week, I invite you to just create a couple other emails that just kind of nudge them gently. How's it going? I'm thinking about you. You should be in week 3. Where are you? Send me an email if you need a nudge, right? You could have that sent to your support team, or if you're not even there yet, that's okay. Have it get sent to you and just, do your best to keep plugging them along. So to get back to that client that was berating herself today, I just met her with compassion, and I said, okay, first of all, you found the book, which is awesome, and I love that you got started. I love that you read 3 chapters. That is so awesome that you did not come to this call and give me a bunch of excuses. You found the book and you said, I better get started before I get on the call with Katie. So that to me shows determination, and I'm so proud of you. And I could feel her relax into the call. Right? I'm not here to punish people. I'm here to get her going. And as I mentioned to her about what I've been working on with this webinar, and she said, Katie, you're exactly right. I have such a fear of being a learner that the idea of learning this new thing, because she's studying to be an image consultant. And she was like, the idea of being back in school and having to read and watch these webinars and remember all of this is really scary to me. And I just acknowledged that. It's okay. So on that note, I want you to keep in mind, adults have different learning styles, just as kids do. And that's why our educational system fails some people. So if you had registered in advance, I had emailed you some questions about your own learning style preferences. And between last week's and this week's, I got a few responses that I've added in here. So I'm going to go ahead and read some to you. Someone said, I like intellectual activities where I'm learning something. Someone else wrote, I'm not as fond of physical activities unless there's a learning component. Mindlessly rote activities drive me crazy. I only feel accomplished when I finish a project. I love to learn. I'm so curious about everything. Sometimes I'm doing too many things at once. Because I have a strong curiosity about learning new things, I like a variety of stuff. And trying to focus on technical stuff, it's challenging for me. I don't like activities that tell me what to think about or question myself about. I'm really finding that working through workbooks that give me rote questions to ask myself and then write answers down in response to be so utterly boring. I get a bad case of ADD. It feels like school. I hate school. Just for time's sake, I'll skip through some of these. I learn through discussion. I like activities where the group works together. I do not care for pairing people and role-playing. I need time to process, and it puts undue pressure on me. Someone else wrote, I'm an introvert. I need to process internally and externally over time. And then the last one, I like to expand my comfort zone on my own time. And then she put a smile and said, maybe then it's not expanding. Ha. So I wanted to bring these up with you so that you get a sense for what might stress people out. If you like geeking out on technology and the latest trends of where you can house the modules and content for your home study program, be aware that the navigation, though easy for you, may feel really difficult to others. So make sure that you make instruction videos for how to navigate the tech piece so they can learn it at their own pace. While some people love physical activities, others hate it. So if you're teaching someone to begin implementing a morning ritual as part of your productivity lesson, and 30 minutes of rigorous exercise as a part of it, just know that some people cannot or will not do it. So just include a few other suggestions for those who may not be excited to run full sprints at 6 a.m. I know that happened with me, with one of my coaches, and he really challenged me on my resistance to him wanting me to do that exercise. Okay, so now that I've planted a few seeds of things that you should keep in mind as you develop your course, I want you to stop right now and do not develop anything any further until you do this first important step, and that is market research. That's right, folks. Market research is not transformational in and of itself, but it sure gives you information that is worth its weight in gold. It is absolutely heartbreaking to build something that no one buys. I know, I've done it. And what I learned from that is your people may not know what they need if you ask them directly. But by having a conversation with them, And it's one where you're willing to go deep into curiosity with them, or even asking some questions on a survey. You can note the pain points that are repeated over and over, and then ask yourself, which of these pain points can I solve the best? And the second question you want to ask yourself, would I love to offer a program addressing this pain point? You must answer yes to the second question. Would you love it? Because it's going to take an enormous amount of your time and talent, and I would hate to see you waste it trying to please everyone but yourself. It's true, our passion shines through us or is blatantly missing in our work. Make sure you're passionate about it, and if you're not, change directions. I am currently serving my third or fourth niche as a coach. It's okay to change your mind and try new things. Okay, so you're having conversations with people, you're surveying your list, you're posting in social media groups asking questions. You can also try this trick. Go onto Amazon or YouTube and find products, books, and videos that are in your target market and read the reviews. Often people will tell you their before and after story. So take note of the pain points they mentioned in their before story, and voila, you have the pain they experience in their language, and that's the language you will speak when you are marketing your idea. Their questions are going to dictate the content that you teach in your program. Now, this doesn't mean you can't add in what you think is valuable in addition to what they are asking about. It just means that you want to lead with their pain points and let them know you can solve it with your program. Oftentimes, the job of a transformational leader or teacher is to teach people something they didn't know they needed to learn. All right, so after you do the market research, it's time to do a rough outline sketch of what the program would look like. What is the length of time you want to offer it for? How will you deliver the content, right? Is it live? Is it going to be a home study? Are you going to do it via webinar? Hopefully, if you do, hopefully the slides work. Are you going to offer only a teleseminar? Will it be recorded? Maybe it would be a live program first, and then you'll turn it into a home study. I recommend this. Now, you may remember me saying earlier that gone are the days where you can package up the recordings of your group calls and offer them as a home study. What I mean is there needs to be more to the home study than just a bunch of recordings. Figure out how you can offer them a practice, whether you give them a workbook or assignments with a place for online accountability, etc. You could do a Facebook group. You could invite them over to your blog and interact there, right? However you can do it. As you heard in some of the examples, some people love workbooks, other people hate workbooks. So you want to offer a variety of ways to practice some of the stuff. And let's go deeper into that right now. So I want you to take out your free resource, if you have it, 6 Steps to Easily Organize Your Program Content. And that was just a one-sheet free resource that's an outline. And so what I want to do is take a look at that so I can show you how this will work for you, whether you're trying to map out your entire program or whether you're just trying to put structure to each module within your program. And it's okay if you don't have that resource in front of you, because on the slide that will come up next, we're going to go through it step by step. So, step 1. When thinking about mapping out an outline for a program, you want to ask yourself, what results do you want your client to experience from working your program? On the resource, I refer to this as the desired client outcome. Now, from those outcomes, you'll establish objectives for each module. For example, if you were to create a program for women desiring to lose weight and keep it off for good, The result would be effective and long-term weight control. With that in mind, list out the resources and tools, the techniques, and the material that you already have in your toolbox to make that desired result happen. Now, a note here, you may not include everything that you list here in your program. This is just like a brain dump of all of your resources and tricks. So now that you have your ultimate end result, what are the benchmarks you'll take them through to get there? And you'll need to backwards map this. In order to achieve effective and long-term weight control, your clients will need to, and let's just say, adjust their eating behavior, which is most likely linked to something emotional, and increase their sense of self-worth so they can stay committed to the results they desire. So bear with me since this is not my niche, but I'm just trying to give an example that everyone can follow. So in order for them to adjust their eating behavior, figure out the emotional component, and increase their self-worth, those are the three benchmarks, right? They're going to need to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, and whatever that is for you. So here's where you're looking at your tools and you're asking yourself, what's realistic? What can I do for the length of time they're going to be in the program? For how much trust is going to be established? For whether it's group or one-on-one or home study or live, right? All of those things in mind. You've laid out your benchmarks, the 3 or however many things you want them to be able to do. And then you're going to figure out what can you do to help them get there. And that's backwards mapping. So you're starting with the end result in mind, and you're figuring out a way for them to get to the end result from where they are right now. Okay, so in just a minute, you'll see the slide for step 2, but step 2 is the opening. When you're designing your entire program, this step 2 is really for you to write all of this out so that you're clear on the what, the why, and the how. This will make your marketing easier and your communication about your ideas easier. So what will they discover? Why is this important? And how does it relate to the previous session? So when you're breaking it down by modules, and you're looking at the same resource to break it down when you're figuring out one module, this is an important factor to share with your clients. Write this into your script. The psychology behind this is that learners can connect the dots easier when you share with them what they can anticipate learning, because their brain immediately goes into recall mode, searching for what it already has stored regarding this topic. And then you're also solidifying for them that the time spent here with you is worthy for these reasons. By relating it to the previous sessions and the future sessions, you're literally showing them the map. Imagine taking a road trip and never having the chance to see where you are in relation to where you're going. It's much more interesting to observe the progress that you're making along the way. And sometimes, if we don't point it out for our clients, they may not even be aware of the progress and the mini shifts that they're making. So this is really important to share when you're planning out your module. All right, so moving on to step 3. When you're designing your entire program, you want to list all the ways that you can communicate the information that you have to share. So are you teaching them a process? Are you teaching them a new skill? Are you sharing information so that they can make an informed and empowered decision about something, right? Maybe you're a fertility coach and you're giving people different options. You may be doing all 3 of those examples throughout your program. You may be teaching them a process, teaching them a skill, and helping them make decisions. So again, this is an opportunity for you to do a little brain dump, and you can edit it later. So now that you're clear with what you'll be sharing, that's the left-hand column, the right-hand column is asking, how will you share it? Will you show demonstrations? Will you illustrate it with storytelling? Will you do a mini lecture around it? So this is the same process that you'll go through whether you're creating your whole program or as you design each module or each session. You're going to go through the same process. What's the one objective that you have in mind? How or what are you going to share that day? And then how are you going to share it? So just basing it on the objective for each session. And that's how you know how much information is plenty for your learners, is that you're sticking with 1 to 2 objectives per session that you're teaching. Because again, they're there for the transformation, not all of the information you have. Okay, so step 4 is called effective guided practice. When you're designing your entire program, be brainstorming ways that you can practice with your clients during the call or the webinar or the face-to-face event. So quick and easy suggestions that I listed for you include a typical Q&A session, which can be very valuable for those introverted ones who don't necessarily want to ask questions, because this is a way for them to possibly get their questions answered anyway. Case in point, though, don't always rely on this because you will never hear from your introverted clients. And as a transformational leader, it's your responsibility to reach the needs of all your clients. One way I get around that is inviting people to email me questions ahead of time in case they can't be there live or if they just feel too shy to raise their hand. So I also listed their role play as well as discussion. So in the teaching world, round robin is a technique where we move around the circle and each and every student gets the chance to share something. I wouldn't do this all the time because, again, you're going to burn out your introverts. But don't skip it because it's valuable for everyone to hear the thoughts of each person in the group, and it really helps solidify your community. Role plays can be fun, and it's funny because somebody had mentioned in the feedback where I asked what types of learning activities do you like, somebody said they hated role plays. So, you know, you're going to have some clients that love it and some that hate it, and that's why you always want to be changing it up and don't always stick with the same guided practice. But these can be fun, especially for shy people. This is what I found when I taught English as a second language. If they can pretend to be someone else, they might be more likely to participate. So going back to the weight loss coach example, a role play activity could look like this. One person gets to play you, like they need to embody you. What would you say, you as the coach? So we'll call that person A. And the other person gets to play a really obvious, reluctant participant, and this is person B. And the discussion they will have that the rest of the group is listening to is around person B really resisting the new food habits that you're teaching. And so encourage person B to be as whiny as humanly possible. Try to choose someone who will really ham it up because laughter is the key here, right? So it may be like, you want me to eat quinoa? And person A responds, no, it's called quinoa. And yes, I'd love for you to stay open and give it a try. And person B may say, you know, I really just like to start my day with a Diet Coke. What's wrong with that? It says diet. And person A would have to reply by using some of what you taught during the session that day. The reason the role play is effective is because when we teach something, we know and understand it forever. It's a whole new level of processing in the brain, and it really makes it stick. And so just see what you can come up with here. That was just a silly example. Another idea is that, you know, if it's not a live event, you can have them pause the video or sit in silence if you're on the phone or in person, and write a dialogue between the newer version of herself and the older version of herself. She can write it from the perspective of the newer version, explaining why she needs to permanently leave the older version of herself behind. And this is her saying adios forever. So whatever effective guided practice you choose, be sure that it's providing a way for your clients to actively apply the new knowledge immediately. And be sure to debrief after the activity to see what came up for them. The debrief can be very powerful, so don't skip it. Okay, so moving on to step 5. This is real world independent practice. So you've done the guided practice, they've had some fun with it. Bear with me, the slide will show up in just a minute. There it is. They've had some fun with it. But now the step 5 is where they're going to practice the new content in the real world. So to return to the weight loss coach idea, one suggestion would be to go to their favorite local restaurant and search the menu for items that are within the parameters that you had set. Alternatively, they could view the menu online and do the same exercise. Another idea is to search for recipes online that fit the same parameters and submit their favorite to the group so that everyone ends up with a bunch of new recipe ideas that will help keep them on track. So this would be super easy to do in a Facebook group with the ability to upload files and share links. Even if it's a home study program, you could still have a Facebook group and everyone that purchases your program gets added to it. So it's just a dynamic group with constantly getting new members, right? You add everyone to it so that they still have a place for accountability, and it keeps people who previously participated in the group a chance to stay connected. And it requires no time and no money from you. And so I want you to brainstorm some activities that you could have your target market do out in the real world. And how can you include an accountability piece? So these activities should be out of their comfort zone because we all know that's where the learning happens. So as you're thinking this stuff through, it's just good to jot down some of these ideas. Okay, again, you're not writing your whole program. This is just really getting your rough outline sketch done. Okay, so we're moving on to step 6, which is the closing. I want you to avoid the mistake that most new teachers make, and that is skipping number 6. The closing of your session is so important. And what happens is people don't look at the time, and they end up running out of time, and so they end their session at the end of 5. Step 5, meaning, and that's even if they get to do a debrief. So that's a huge no-no. Please don't do that. So it's when you get the closing, it's like putting a lid on the new content so that it stays fresh and usable. You want to bring your session back around, connect the dots for them, and get them excited for the next week's content. This is how you keep them showing up week after week. You want to be sure that no one is left with questions or feeling unsure with how to proceed with the assignment. Now, in an effort to maintain the container of time for each session, invite them to post questions in the group or email you with specific questions, but just make sure you address how they can move forward if they're stuck. Okay, so there you have it. That's how to use this free checklist resource as a template and use it for each session that you create with the program. So I want to move on to talk about how you can actually get paid before you dive into doing the hard work that comes after you've outlined your program. But before we do that, I want to take a few moments to explain how I have followed the exact steps that I've shared with you today. I know that for most of you on this webinar, you have a message to share. You've answered the calling to be a transformational leader, to coach others in the niche that is most important and valuable to you. And if you've been doing it for a while, you may be experiencing a sense of burnout. You have filled your practice with one-on-one clients, and they've made some great shifts in their lives as a result of working with you. And now you're ready to take your business to the next level. You're ready to learn how to leverage your business so that you can reach more people, have a greater impact in the world, and get back your personal time so that you can live a more balanced lifestyle. And all of this is possible when you create structure around your genius. You are here to share an important message with your people. And I am here to help you structure that message into a program or product that sells. And so that's why I created my Turn Your Genius into Profit group program. So I know that I'm speaking to the right people here, and I just want to share a little bit of, whether this program is right for you or not. So it's for you if you've been sitting with a brilliant idea for a long time, but you don't know how to get started. It's for you if you've been inspired by today's webinar and you know that you're ready to start leveraging your time and effort. It is not for you if you don't have time to invest. I am not going to lie, this is going to take some of your time and effort. But remember, once it's done, and tweaking it will be easy. So this 7-week program will take you through all the nuts and bolts of finally getting your product or program complete. I will take you through the step-by-step process, and you'll have homework each week that you must be willing to do in order to be successful. This is simple stuff, but it's not easy. I cannot write your program for you, but I can give you templates and a structure and accountability to get it done. Your people are waiting for you to share your genius. So are you ready? I talked about how it's important to do market research and identify your target audience. So I'm going to bring in guest speakers to help you nail down your niche, your marketing message, and be sure that you're fully aligned before you move forward. You will learn the best strategies to get your market research complete. I talked about how to map out your entire program and then how to go back and figure out each module for your product or program. So we'll go into further detail on how to make your content rock so that people are talking about it in a good way when you're not even there. And at the end of the 7 weeks, you will have a clear picture of what each module will look like. And in just a moment, I'll share with you why it's important to pre-sell the product or program that you're creating. In this program, I've invited a marketing expert to join us to talk about heart-based marketing and how you can pre-sell your program in a way that is within your own integrity. I've also invited a technology superstar to join us so that she can share with you the easiest and most affordable solutions to navigating the technology that's required for an online launch, as well as where you can house your home study program so that your clients can log in and access it at any time. I'm going to keep this group really small. So if you feel like you're a good match, I insist that you speak with me personally, because I want to be sure that you're the right fit, that you're ready to do this, and that you're willing to do the work. Because my promise to you is that no one will get left behind. If you don't have your product or program mapped out and ready to be pre-sold at the end of the 7 weeks, I will work with you personally to get you up to speed. So that's my promise to you. So if you're interested, I want you to email me. You can reply to any email that I've emailed you, or just send me an email to katie@stepforwardwithkatie.com. There'll be a slide at the end of the presentation with that email on there for you to write down. And just let me know that you're interested. And we're going to set up a time to chat, 15 minutes, get to know each other, see where you are in your business, and so that I know that you're ready. I am really looking forward to sharing this with ready and committed people. I know it's going to be an amazing program where your content is going to get knocked out of the park in sales. And I just want you to be successful and get yourself leveraged. So I'm super psyched about it. Let me tell you how you can pre-sell your product or program so you can have cash money in your hand. So it's really important to get paid before you dive into doing the hard work. The hard work comes after you've outlined your program, and the secret to getting paid is to pre-sell it. Pre-selling is asking for someone to pay for your program before you finish creating it. Now, I know for some of you that feels edgy and is beyond the realm of your comfort zone. Good. The thing that we all know for sure is that the results we seek are outside of your comfort zone. And so you have to be willing to push yourself to do something that makes you uncomfortable. So here's why pre-selling is vital to your success. Number one, it tells you that there's a market for what you want to offer. Number 2, it pays you some income so you can live comfortably while you are designing and creating it. Number 3, it will continue to pay you income once it's done. Number 4, you will actually complete your product or program, right? There are 3 levels of accountability. The first level is to yourself, and if you're like most people, we are not very good at keeping ourselves accountable. The second level is to a coach, which is why we hire our own coaches to help us grow our business. And by you joining the group program, it's going to keep you accountable to getting this stuff started. But the third and most powerful level of accountability is to someone who has paid you money. It is actually more painful to refund money than it is to complete the program that you're going to create. So do not confuse pre-selling with garnering interest. When people pay you money, you have pre-sold your program. So 2 secrets to successfully pre-sell. Number 1, give yourself 90 days to pre-sell your product or program. Since that's a long time to have people wait, you want to figure out a way to overcome this objection in your sales conversation. You want to give them value right away, right? So can you add them to a group so that they can get started and be surrounded by others in the same boat right away? Do you have a workbook you could get them started with? Can you offer a few recorded 30-minute quick start sessions to bridge between now and the start of the program? So think about the assets you already have. Be sure to not overcommit your one-on-one time. And then price the program at an investment level that acknowledges the wait time. So your pre-sale investment will likely be different than when you offer the same program once it's complete. Okay, the second secret is that getting yeses is what you want, but getting no's are just as valuable. So you want to ask for feedback and then tweak your offer in your program to reflect their feedback. All right, so I want to know how that sounds. So I'm going to head over to the chat, and there's going to be a slide coming up with my picture and email in case you do want to email me about it. So let me head over to the chat, and I want you to type in any questions. Cool, I'm just checking over some of the chat right now and some other messages for me. Sorry, I can only handle one computer at a time. So if you have any questions about the program, oh yes, so somebody wants to know when it starts. I have not committed to a date yet. I'm thinking it's going to start mid-March. I am happy to work with you if and when you sign up for the program and see what makes sense for you, for the people that say yes to it. But as it stands right now, it's probably going to be the second week of March. So yeah, 7-week group program. Like I said, I'm going to keep it small. It's really important to me that I am able to work with every one of you one-on-one. It's a no client left behind class, meaning you will not fail. You will not end this program without having what I promise you you'll have in your hands. That's what I love about what I do. I am so committed to you. I'm committed to your clients getting their results. I'm committed to my clients getting results. And I'm just thrilled to share this opportunity with my colleagues. So I'm really honored that you're here today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast and just to acknowledge the time and allow you to get on with your evening. I invite you to email me with any questions that you may have, but I just want to say I'd be honored to support you in getting your product or program completed. It's time to put your own stake in the ground and claim your genius right here and right now. You know that you have so much to offer your people and you cannot keep doing it with one-on-one. So if you're ready for the next step, email me and we'll set up a time to chat. So thanks for being here and investing your time and energy in learning about this. I'm confident that you got some great value from tonight's webinar, and if so, please, pass along my information to some colleagues that you know, because I will have a recording of this that we can share. And if you want to email me and let me know some of your thoughts on tonight's content, I'm happy to hear it. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening. Talk to you soon.